A very good day to everyone. Today we'll be discussing about question frameworks and how they can be used to design a research question. So what exactly is a research question? A research question is a question that a study or a research project will aim to answer. It addresses an issue or a problem which through the analysis and interpretation of the data that we collect will be answered in the study's conclusion. Now, an ideal research question will outline various aspects of the study. This includes the population to be studied, the variables to be studied, and the actual problem that the study is going to address. Now, a very helpful tool to help design an ideal research question is a question framework. What exactly is a question framework? A question framework will provide a structure to organize the components of a balanced and focused research question. Now, focused questions will enable easier planning of the empirical research and will also allow a more effective retrieval of appropriate evidence for a structured literature review. Frameworks generally use acronyms that serve as prompts to consider an area of interest in more detail. These prompts will help us to define our research clearly in terms of terminology such as population, intervention, phenomena of interest, comparisons, settings, outcomes, etc. So the examples of question frameworks are the PICO framework, SPICE framework, SPIDER framework, etc. How do we choose a framework? Choosing a framework largely depends on the field of study and the aim and scope of the research that we'll be conducting. For example, in the field of health sciences, the PICO framework is very often used. So we have population, intervention, comparison, and outcome that is actually studied. In the field of social sciences, the SPICE framework is more common, which looks at the setting, population, intervention, comparison, and evaluation. The PICO framework, PICO, P for patient, what or who is the focus of the research, I for intervention, what intervention is being investigated, C for comparison, what intervention is this being compared to, if there is a comparison in the research question at all, and O is outcome, what are the effects of the intervention. So this is an example of a research question. In patients undergoing cardiac surgery, does remote ischemic preconditioning compared to no preconditioning reduce the incidence of myocardial infarction within the postoperative period? So our P patient is patients undergoing cardiac surgery. Our intervention is the remote ischemic preconditioning. Our comparison will be with a control group who does not undergo preconditioning. And our outcome is the incidence of myocardial infarction within the postoperative period in both these groups, case and control. The PICOT framework is PICOC. We add a new part to it, which is the C, context. In what context or place is the problem being investigated? Using the same research question, here the context is a tertiary care hospital in a city in India. The PICOS framework, which adds the study type. So the S stands for study type. What study design is being considered in this research question? Using the same research question, we have the study type as case control study. The SPICE framework. It looks at the setting, where is the study being set. Perspective. So we need to choose whose perspective is under investigation, the service user or the service provider. Intervention. What intervention is actually being investigated? Comparison, what is the comparison if there is any in the question, and evaluation, what are the outcomes. So the research question is, what are the experiences of postgraduate students of learning alongside students from other countries in online distance learning courses as compared with on-campus education? So the setting is online, perspective is postgraduate students, intervention is learning online alongside students from other countries, comparison is an on-campus learning, and evaluation is the outcomes which are measured by the research. The SPIDER framework, which looks at sample, phenomenon of interest, design, evaluation, and research type. The sample is the group of people being investigated. Phenomena of interest is what is actually being investigated. Design is the research methods used. Evaluation is the outcome measures. And research type is qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods. So the question is, how motivated are young adults to quit smoking after a short mindfulness intervention? The sample is young adult smokers. Phenomena of interest is short mindfulness intervention. The design is a survey. The evaluation is a self-motivated self reported motivation to quit, and the research type is quantitative. So, to summarize, basically, well begin is half done. So, if you have a good research question, that's going to be the most important first step. So, your research question should be feasible, should be interesting, novel, ethical, and relevant. Question frameworks are going to allow us as researchers to channel our abstract ideas into a focused research question using easy to remember acronyms. And the most commonly used framework, PICO, helps define most researches which are related to the field of health sciences. Thank you.